Goodnight, Mommy could have been amazing, but it was an absolutely terrible film. The first half was great, and then something happened that made me so annoyed. And after that, it just went downhill. This was released in 2022. It is, of course, a remake. I haven't seen the original film, the 2014 film, so I can't compare it. Honestly, based on this, I don't want to watch the 2014 version. Part of me is curious to see how it differs, or if it does differ, but if it's the same story, the same narrative, I do not care. This could have been an amazing story, but unfortunately, it's just terrible. Two boys go to stay with their mother. They haven't been staying with their mother for quite a while. And when they arrive, she is wearing this face mask, and they start to suspect that this isn't their mother. And I don't want to say more than that at this stage, or at all, actually, in case you do decide to watch it. But that sounded so fascinating, and I was desperate to know what was going on. But the second half of the film is just a mess. It is very badly executed. As I said, it could have been great. When we start to find out things and learn more about what's going on, it could have been fascinating if the story had been told in a better way. But unfortunately, there is no suspense. There is no atmosphere to it. It's very, very boring. And I honestly stopped caring. And the bit that made me furious happened about halfway through. And I don't know why, but from this point, the direction of the film shifted and it just became terrible. It's like the first half of the film was written by a completely different person to whoever wrote the second half. Now, I don't actually believe that's the case, but that's how dramatic the shift is. It started off as a mysterious, suspenseful, unpredictable film and just became a mess. I'll get in with that in a moment, but I just want to say, first of all, Cameron Crovetti and Nicholas Crovetti as the two boys are wonderful. They gave a really great performance. They really carry the film and they do a fantastic job with it. Naomi Watts plays the mother, and her performance is fine, but the character is not interesting after about the first half of the film. As I said, everything was going really well, and then it just became really poor, really, really terrible. So the turning point for me, this is a spoiler, and it doesn't tell you exactly what's happening or what's going on, but it is a spoiler, of course, for something that happens. And the point that I mean is when the boys run away, and they're found by two officers. And they tell the officers they're scared of going home. They don't want to go back to their mother. They think something's wrong. And one of the officers says, okay, we'll take you somewhere safe, somewhere where there's a bed. And the officers take them back home to their mother. And that would not happen in real life. If you have a vulnerable child or children who tell a police officer they're scared of being at home, they will take those children to social services or whatever, welfare that country has to at least give them somewhere safe while they investigate the problem. And I completely lost faith in the film at that point because I thought you don't know what you're talking about. So that was pretty terrible. And after that point, the narrative started to reveal things that just wasn't interesting. And the more we find out a couple of things that could have been interesting, but the way we're told it is very mundane. So, as I said, it had a lot of potential. It could have been really, really fascinating, but unfortunately, it was just not very well done at all. If the original is significantly better, please feel free to let me know and I might check it out because the story is interesting. It's just the execution that's appalling. So, I don't know, maybe I'll check out the other one out of curiosity, but while I thought Goodnight Mommy was going to be one that I loved because it's exactly my kind of narrative, unfortunately, I ended up being mostly frustrated by it and ultimately not liking it at all.